No. You know who's working at the Starbucks?
Who?
You know who was working at the Starbucks?
Who?
Andy.
Andy who?
Do you remember Andy from high school? I think he was a year ahead of you. He was my section leader my sophomore year.
Andy. Okay. Yeah.
Did not know he worked at that one.
I will admit I mildly might have forgot about him.
He has a good reputation around here. Like a lot of people like here and graduated before didn't have anything to say.
Didn't or did? Yeah. Well, it was a lot of them. Would you like one? I might have one left. Yeah. I went and got him.
You know that's my shit, right?
Yeah. Well, if you want one, you can go get one. I'm probably gonna do this race really quick. Actually, get us some money.
Shit. Also, where does one here?
On the far left. So it's like beers on the far right, and then it's about to the far left. All right, everybody. Hi. I'm back. I had to kick Nico off the show because it was just getting way too racist and way too controversial. So he's gonna go take a timeout and have to think about his life. What am I talking about? Anyway, so I think I decided what I want to do with this channel, more or less, and so I hope you guys are okay with it. So what I want to do with this channel is I want to play games that people might not have gotten to play. If anything, I want to play games that people may have more or less just missed out on. And so that way you can kind of see how what these games were like, and maybe get a little bit more of a history of these games. Whoa, shit! I took that a little too hard. Because me personally, I love games. I do, and I've been playing games since I was 2. I think I first held a controller when I was 2, and my parents got me, or I think my dad had Crash Bandicoot or something, and so I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna get on that. So I've been playing games for as long as I can remember. Oh my god, I gotta be more articulate. Anyway, but yeah, I think that's what I want to do with this channel, and I hope you guys are okay with that. So the reason why I picked Gran Turismo was because I definitely wanted to play the first one, because I feel like it's really important that if we play racing games, I want to take a look at one of the bigger racing games that helped start it up. That's not correct. I should really look up exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, but Gran Turismo was definitely one of those more real racing games that I've ever seen. It was my intro, currently my intro into more experienced racing games. No, that was me actually. I might have cracked it open. So if anything, you can just toss that one if you're not going to drink it. So yeah, I think that's probably what I want to do with this channel. And without further ado, Gran Turismo. Shit. I don't know. Actually did really well. I usually don't do too well, and it's a third person. Yeah. We did good, guys. We did good.
That sink also in that bathroom is the coolest thing ever.
Right?
I was looking, so a hobby of mine is to look up places I could live.
By the way, he's back. He thought about everything he was saying, and he's totally gonna be better now. Is that true, Nico?
I will neither confirm nor deny.
Okay. So it's you like to look up houses?
Yeah, I like to look at houses. So what I do, I look up based on different jobs I could have, or based on different fields I'm going into. I look up different houses in different locations. And so I'm trying to get out of California.
Yeah.
Just because
Because rent.
it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive. The way they tax every little bit of what you make. For example, there's no state income tax in the state of Washington. So I really want to go to Washington.
So you're going home.
Basically, I want to stay West Coast.
Yeah.
but I want to go farther north. 'Cause
So
once you're north of San Francisco, it's colder.
yeah, you get the seasons.
Because geographically you get a lot more of the polar, seasonal polar currents and winds.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get, trying to go to Washington, then maybe Oregon, depending on what happens.
Oregon is definitely okay. You're gonna like the feel of is it Oregon? Oh, shit.
What I want to do is I want to go work for like the government in I'd like to work for like Department of Energy or something like that.
Yeah.
Right, in Portland, and then Portland straddles pretty much the Washington Oregon border.
Yeah.
So I then live in Washington, just like 20 minutes north of Oregon. So you get a lot of the
So we're opposite of Vancouver and
north of Vancouver. It's called Battleground.
Oh.
Do you know Battleground at all?
I think I've been there, but I don't remember because it was so long ago.
I have looked in Vancouver, Oregon a little bit. It's a very saturated market up there.
And not only that, but it's just gray.
But between Battleground and Vancouver, that's the range I'd like to live in. Because Portland, once you're in Portland, you're spending money.
Yeah. Hey, it's Portland, man.
Yeah, it's Portland, but all the jobs are also in Portland.
Yeah.
So I like to do that.
Also, I really like Portland. Like,
I've never been. I hear it's great.
It's from what I felt from it, indie was practically bred there, or is breeding there. I'll say that because it just feels, not only does it feel nice and fresh to be there, but also with all the rain and everything, it's like I feel like it's like music is so much more important.
I discovered an indie band. Well, not discovered. For me, it's a discovery.
Yeah.
Basically, how I discover music now is my girlfriend and I share a Spotify.
Oh.
I just turn on the indie playlist because most stuff that's not indie, it's too genre specific.
Yeah.
Whereas indie is on one hand is a genre, but it's also like
it can be anything. Yeah.
it can be anything. Yeah, as long as you're not on a big label, it can be anything. But it's its own genre. But indie as a genre changes.
Yeah.
Like indie from 10 years ago sounds totally different from indie today.
Yeah.
Whereas you listen to, say, metal 10 years ago, metal today, it's pretty similar. Now you go metal like 20 years ago.
You just upset so many people right now.
It's if you go, but if say like
yeah.
you go metal like also metal has all these subgroups though.
Yeah.
When you go metal 20 years ago, it sounds way different.
Yeah.
Grunge, I'd say grunge sounds pretty similar.
I would say grunge gets its own category only for the fact that it was the only genre I know that only lasted like 6 years.
What would those 6 years be in your mind?
2004 to, 1994 to 2000.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
You're like, when does Nirvana then?
Yeah. it was more like, I remember Black Hole Sun and that was it.
Okay, that's Soundgarden.
Yeah.
So then I'd argue it's 1991 to 2000 because Nirvana, Nevermind came out in 91.
Oh wow.
Kurt Cobain died in 94, I believe.
So that's when grunge died.
94. The day grunge died. No, I'd say 94 was.
Oh no.
It was interesting.
Too hot.
94 was the year Kurt Cobain died. It was, I believe, and it was also the year that Dookie from Green Day was dropped. That could be. That probably was the year grunge died because Kurt Cobain died and Nirvana was like the biggest band in the world. And what made Green Day so refreshing and so popular was you had like all this grunge and like metal on the radio, and then you had this like upbeat like semi pop punk in between it all. I was like, you know what?
Huh.
Also, Green Day's first single about masturbation, which I'm pretty sure the main target for records has always been younger people.
Yeah.
So they're like, it's about jacking off.
I always love your views on
Society.
not just society, but it's like the music industry as well.
When I think about when I see you play this, I'm like, who sits on a track to watch a freaking like a Civic
Yeah.
in a race?
Like a car passed by. Like
Like, I wouldn't, if you said, oh, I'm gonna go to a car race, cool, what's racing? A Toyota Supra. I'd be like, what?
You know what?
And a 3-door Civic. Like, if you told me that's the race you're going to, I'd be like, are they tuned up? Or is they modified? Like, nah, that's what I'm watching. Well, I guess if you're having a race with these cars, it's a show of driving rather than the capabilities of the vehicle.
Yeah. At this point, I would actually be pretty okay with just kind of gonna go check it out. I don't think we won that tournament, but then again, I didn't.
Oh, it was a tournament.
Yeah, it was a tournament, so I wasn't paying attention to the score.
It was definitely listen. Just that first race of where.
Oh, it looks like we got second, so it's fine. That's fine. But it's like we got some cash, so it's something we can work with.
I wonder, like, what kind of dystopian world all these games were set in, where like you drive for money. Or is that a utopian world where like part of your job is to drive?
That would be my utopia world, dude. If I could just drive all day, I wouldn't.
Your family's very into American cars, aren't they?
I would say the men in my family are very into American cars.
Because there's a Jeep in the garage.
Yeah, that was Sean.
There's the Challenger.
Sean again.
And then there's your Avenger.
That's me.
What does the rest of your family drive?
My mom drives Kia.
Okay, that's South Korean.
And then my aunt, she drives Ford.
That's American.
Yeah. She used to drive a Nissan. What was it?
I think Nissan's. I'm not sure of Nissan. I think they're Korean. I could be wrong.
No, you know what? I think you're right, because I think my aunt only drives Fords. Like, but they're like, she will only drive like the biggest truck possible. And then Sean, he likes the muscle cars, and I'm not gonna lie, I do too. Which is the reason why it was like a Dodge Avenger, which because it was like the cheapest.
It's the budget muscle car.
Yes, the budget muscle car.
And it's the step up.
But
it's like Dodge Avenger. This is weed, but what you want is cocaine.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I love how like it took a second to be like, that's not the right analogy. I'm gonna roll with it.
Yeah, just you know what? Let's just go with it.
You want Vicodin, but you still have melatonin.
Oh, you son of a... Get out of my way.
Son of a...
Oh, no.
My mom was driven...
Too hard.
Just Dodge Caravans. Since, like, the last 20 years.
Caravans.
The last, 16 years, my mom was driven just Dodge Caravans. So she had a silver one, and it literally died on her. You know where the Toys R Us is on where the Toys R Us and the Food for Less are, right before you get on the 5.
Yeah.
Her first Dodge Caravan, that's where it died.
Really?
Like, on the side of the road there. She's like, I put my foot on the gas and nothing happened.
Oh
so
no!
I pulled it over the side of the road.
Get out of my way.
And it was an older vehicle at the time, so she's like, yeah, I'm just not even.
Yeah.
Then she got the new one, which, yeah.
Eh.
It's the one she got to get their transmission rebuilt on after driving to San Francisco and back. Which I guess the fact that it made it that far,
Yeah.
is a testimony to it. Testament. But there's that one. That's been the last 15 years. My dad has had trucks, so he had a Nissan Frontier, which is their small truck.
Yeah.
Then they sold that house at the height of the market, and they took some of the. Basically, we moved from a house up in. So when the parents bought their first house, I should talk about that in a second. My parents bought their first house up in like Riverside County. At the time that the market was low, so they were both homeowners before they were 30, which is I think was like whoa.
Yeah.
2 Mexican kids out of like Port Hueneme, Oxnard, you know, with 2 kids owning a house.
Which is quite impressive.
Before 30, yeah. But again, the market was low, and just the benefit, the military pay benefit, the housing allowance. My mom said the BAH got so high that it was hard to justify living in housing. when the BH was so high compared to the cost of living.
Mhm.
Whereas now BH doesn't cover all of it
Yeah.
because cost of housing is so high. At the time housing was low, it was a cheap area. They bought the house. We were in the only house for 2 or 3 years. That's the point where my dad worked down here. My dad worked in Coronado, I think. So we worked down here, and we lived past Temecula, like just past Temecula, most of the way to Riverside. So that's like an hour drive every day. And so became a strain on the family, and so they sold that house. They sold that house for like $100,000 profit because the market had just done this during that time. Sold the house for a profit. We moved into Navy housing, so they just pocketed the money entirely. And my dad bought his truck brand new, the only brand new vehicle the family's bought. And he bought the Toyota Tacoma, the same one he has now. That was.
You mean the Toyota Taco?
The Toyota Taco.
I should have took it too high.
But yeah, he bought that Taco brand new. So I think he has like 174,000 miles on it or something. It's all him. And the thing's still going. The top's rusted out, but that's because he doesn't take care of it.
Yeah.
But
usually that's why a car goes down, just because no one takes care of it.
Depends on what it is. Like Japanese cars, definitely. If you don't take care of them, like, they won't appreciate you. The old Mercedes, you could neglect a little bit and they would still work, like the 80s, 70s Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, like anything that isn't Japanese, even some of the Japanese stuff, you gotta take care of. Whereas like European cars, it's your maintenance costs are just through the roof just because stuff goes bad on them. Like your Mercedes, your BMWs, they're so computerized. They're European luxury cars. And they're so computerized and they're so meant to be luxury and be cutting edge that they have all these software problems and all these technological problems. Well, it takes a computer to diagnose these problems, and the computer is like $20,000. So when you take your car to the mechanic, you say you get your Mercedes worked on at the mechanic, well, he has to now somehow get that $20,000 back on top of whatever work he has to do to the car. Which is why their reliability after like 60,000 miles is terrible. So I guess they're good leasing vehicles.
Yeah. Which usually that's why you'll see like younger people like us occasionally have them because
Mommy, daddy money.
Well, I was gonna say more like you have to lease them first, but once they kind of start going out of whack a little bit, you gotta get rid of them.
Yeah.
So you sell them dirt cheap to the people that think they're pretty good, and then they have to deal with all those fucking expensive problems, aka me. Be like, oh cool, here's this car that I can fucking try to pay for like half of my life, and now I'm starting to realize why it was so cheap.
Some cars just depreciate though.
Yeah.
Like your BMW came out with a hybrid like wannabe. It's supposed to look like a supercar, but it's supposed to be an all-electric car called the i8. And the BMW i8. What? It's supposed to be an electric car. Those things depreciate. See that MSRP?
Uh-huh.
Those things are like, some of them are down to like 70 after 2 years. That's a wicked, gnarly depreciation value.
Yeah.
That is a tiny freaking engine.
Right?
Yeah, it's a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder.
3-cylinder?
3-cylinder, because it's mostly electric. Okay, so that's the range extended version.
Personally, I would like to see I would say I'm pretty sure that they have this, but basically it's like some races where you can only use this like experimental cars.
Okay, like cars you modify or prototype cars?
Prototype, more or less, but you could modify it, I guess.
I think the only problem with prototype cars is even when you drive on track, they have to meet certain safety requirements.
Yeah.
And there's no money in that.
But like I said, it's
like
just
that would be a more spectator sport.
Yeah.
And you have to market it as a spectator sport, whereas car companies it's a consumer industry.
Yeah.
That's something I have a trouble grasping is how sports teams make money.
What? Can you just elaborate on that a little bit?
So, I'm going to use the Dodgers as an example. They just re-signed the starting pitcher Clayton Kershaw for 3 years for like $93 million. So he's getting paid about $30 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
How can you afford that as an organization? Like, and he's one player.
Yeah.
So they have multiple smaller, like, the rookie is $600,000 paychecks, and they have other position players for $2 million or whatever. On top of that, they have to fly all these people around.
Right.
They have to probably pay for their health care because if you're an athlete, you got to be in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably have to pay for their health care. I'm sure there's all sorts of other expenses other than running a baseball team.
Yeah.
Right?
So basically,
your payroll's high. Your expenses are high because jet fuel isn't cheap either, and I'm sure they fly private jets, like the whole team's their own jet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all high. I understand there are sponsorship deals and with like the stadiums and contracts with cable companies, but I'm like, and merch of course, but I'm like,
but I'm
like, how is that like hundreds of millions of like? It's got to meet certain profit margins as well.
Yeah.
For it to be considered worthwhile. And then there's shareholder investment return or whatever. I'm like, what must the revenue have to be in order for that to be like the hundreds of millions of dollars in expenditures to be worth it?
Yeah.
Because you look at a movie, like a movie has to make like at least $100 million to be considered worth the studio's time.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that was a big deal with Venom. I think it cost like $300,000 to make, and it needed to make $500,000 for Sony to say it's worth the time, and it made that. So, but I was just thinking, like sports teams, like one person can cost you $30 million a year, and at the end of the day, these things are companies.
Yeah.
These things have to make money.
Well, coming from a business perspective, I would say definitely more on the side of like there's like merch. I feel like does go a long way just because mainly just in sports. Because do you see how many people wear sports jerseys and how many people have so many fucking sports jerseys? And you know how much they charge for those things at a game?
I do know. I recently when the Dodgers made it back to the World Series. I bought my first jersey and
it probably wasn't cheap, was it?
Sale and it was $99.
Yeah. So those things.
And I got the cheapest one, like the no name on the back, like away team one for like 20% off, and it was still $99.
No, I can't.
As well as I have a few hats.
I need this.
But I feel like, how many jerseys do you have to sell for $99 to make $3 million back? I feel like merch is just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
It's padding. The bottom line has to be the advertisements, the cable network deals.
And I mean, especially with cable right now, like there's a whole bunch of like, I think it said there's be that I think it's our generation or a few years after ours.
Oh, it's gonna be gone. We're gonna be all streaming.
Yeah.
But mind you, now streaming is sort of has its own cable sort of dichotomy as well, because YouTube TV is like basically cable. It's $40 a month.
It's Main Sprinter. We were just talking about this earlier too.
MLB, Major League Baseball has its own streaming service, and it's like $30 a month. And I'm like, I thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I was looking into it when the playoffs started, and I was like, yo, baseball is on how many months a year? 3 months? No, sorry, like from April. From April to like October, and it only goes through October if your team makes it. Otherwise, you don't care about the other the other like 10 teams that are in playoffs. But baseball is like half a year, and $30 a month to watch it for half a year. That feels like lighting money on fire.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna come right back to this. If you guys want to hear the end of this conversation, you can come back tomorrow. And I'll have that up. And if you liked the episode, leave a like and a share it. You can hit that subscribe if you want to see more games that you just don't want to play, but you want to check out. I talked about this at the beginning while it was like you were in the bathroom, but I think I know what I'm going to do with this channel now. Hopefully Nico will be back, and I'll see you tomorrow. So, yeah.
Just let it move you and take a step back and slide. I won't let you say no. Life's too short to sit on the side.